Approximately 70 million Americans are affected by digestive diseases, and 15 to 20 million endoscopic procedures are performed annually in the USA. Notwithstanding their clinical utility and beneficial effect on patient care, endoscopic procedures currently carry significant complication rates. 0.95% for screening colonoscopy, 1.07% for upper endoscopy, and as high as 15% in selected therapeutic endoscopy procedures such as endoscopic retrograde cholangiopancreatography. Despite the common nature of these procedures, there is no standard methodology for the training of endoscopists or for the objective determination of when a trainee has met important thresholds or attained technical competence. Furthermore, there is no objective tool to determine when a trainee is sufficiently familiar with the endoscope and endoscopic equipment to begin clinical procedures. Over the past decade, there has been a steady increase in the development and use of simulators to train and assess endoscopic skills. Limited data on virtual reality simulators have demonstrated some benefits in early trainees, or the high cost associated with computer models has limited their widespread use. In contrast, using simulators as assessment tools has been more controversial. Possible uses for simulators in endoscopy include skill development and evaluation prior to initial human cases, assessment for trainee advancement, and possibly providing an objective method of endoscopist certification and credentialing. Given the recognized need for simulation and endoscopic training, the development and validation of training and assessment tools are essential. Validity is defined as appropriateness, meaningfulness, and usefulness of the specific inferences made from test scores, and validation is defined as the hypothesis-driven process of accumulating evidence to support such inferences. Within this contemporary framework, validity integrates evidence from multiple sources, including test content, internal structure, response process, relationships to other variables, and consequences of testing. This is in contrast to the previous framework in which validity was subdivided into types of validity: face, content, construct, and criterion related, and which is no longer used following the most recent consensus standards of the American Educational Research Association, American Psychological Association, and National Council on Measurement in Education, published in 1999. In this study, fundamental endoscopic skills were identified, and the Thompson Endoscopic Skills Trainer test was developed with the aim of improving and assessing the skills required to perform endoscopy. This report details simulator development and evaluates the validity of the scoring system. Background and study aims. There is currently no objective and validated methodology available to assess the progress of endoscopy trainees or determine when technical competence has been achieved. The aims of the current study were to develop an endoscopic part task simulator and to assess scoring system validity. Methods. Fundamental endoscopic skills were determined via kinematic analysis, literature review, and expert interviews. Simulator prototypes and scoring systems were developed to reflect these skills. Validity evidence for content, internal structure, and response process was evaluated. Results. The final training box consisted of 5 modules: knob, control, torque, retroflexion, polypectomy, and navigation, and loop reduction. A total of 5 minutes were permitted per module with extra points for early completion. Content Validity Index, CVI, realism was 0.88. CVI relevance was 1.00, and CVI representativeness was 0.88, giving a composite CVI of 0.92. Overall, 82% of participants considered the simulator to be capable of differentiating between ability levels, and 93% thought the simulator should be used to assess ability prior to performing procedures in patients. Inter-item assessment revealed correlations from 0.67 to 0.93, suggesting that tasks were sufficiently correlated to assess the same underlying construct, with each task remaining independent. Each module represented 16% to 26.1% of the total score, suggesting that no module contributed disproportionately to the composite score. Average box scores were 272.6 and 284.4, p equals 0.94, when performed sequentially, and average scores for all participants with Proctor 1 was 297.6 and 308.1 with Proctor 2, p equals 0.94, suggesting reproducibility and minimal error associated with test administration. Conclusion. A part-task training box and scoring system were developed to assess fundamental endoscopic skills, and validity evidence regarding content, internal structure, and response process was demonstrated.